Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sylvia and today we're going to turn this into a card. Now, if you haven't watched my video from last week, be sure to watch it because although it's in time-lapse, you'll be able to see how I painted this water scene, the waterfall. And all I did was, because I had it all taped down, I ended up cutting it down. Now, the size of this is 102 millimeters wide and 146 millimeters in height. Then you're going to need your cardstock, and that is 105 millimeters wide and 169 millimeters in height. And then I've got another little piece of cardstock where we're going to do some stamping on, and that is 102 millimeters wide by 23 millimeters in height. And all I did was just cut a little bit off the corners, just to, you know, spice it up a little bit so it doesn't look too boring. Now, the other things we're going to need, because we're going to do something really interesting, some watercolour paints. Now, I've got ultramarine blue here, medium yellow and crimson. Okay. The other thing that I find very handy to have is an X-Acto knife. A little sponge of some sort you're going to need, as well as any sort of very firm brush, whether it's a paintbrush, a blending brush, you know, for using your distress inks, whatever. Then I've got my little stamp which says Merry Christmas on it, and I've got a little snowflake one as well. The other thing we're going to need is a little bit of water and some vegetable glycerine. We need a stamping block, and we need any kind of ink. So, shall we get stuck into it? Oh, before we start, be sure to hit the like button down the bottom, and if you want to see more videos on how to do card making or painting or any other sort of crafts, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you get notified every time I put a video on, because sometimes I actually put extra videos on during the week if I've got the opportunity to do so. Okay, to get started, the first thing we want to do, the other thing you're going to need is some double-sided tape, which I've already stuck on here. Okay, and that's where the X-Acto knife is going to come in really handy. Okay, and on this piece, I actually put some double-sided mounting tape on because it was almost the perfect size. I had to cut it down a little bit, and I've already stuck it down because I figured that way I don't have to put any sort of foam underneath, because I already got the foam on there in order to stamp. So we'll see how that goes. Trying it for the first time. Hopefully it'll work out. So now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create my very own distress ink with these watercolours. So what we're going to need is any sort of paintbrush, and what I want to do, I'm going to put these things over to one side for the minute, miles away from what we're doing. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit of this medium yellow onto a palette of some sort. I'm just using a tile. And we're going to do the same with the crimson. And I might actually not need any water, but we'll see. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one drop of the glycerin, and we're just going to mix it up. And you want to mix it really, really, really well. And as you can see, it is quite watery, so you definitely won't need any extra water. Okay, so we've got that there. I'm just going to rinse my brush out, and I'm actually going to dab it on a rag, my little painter's rag. Oh dear. And because I know this brush holds quite a bit of water, I'm actually sort of pressing on it to try and get most of it out. And then we're going to do the same with the crimson, like so. And wash our brush out again. There we go. Put the brush to one side. Now I'm going to pick up our special brush, and I'm going to use it just like you would with one of your blending stumps. I'm going to go into the yellow. And I'm going to blend that in. I might actually have to see if I've got a smaller brush. And hopefully I've got enough on my little palette, I should do, to go all the way around. There we go. And next, and I'm just going to use the same brush, I'm not going to clean it out or anything like that. I'm going to go into some of the crimson. And we're going to blend that in as well. I mean, a sponge might have been a better option than this paintbrush, but I figured it'll do. There we go. Now I'm going to move that over to one side and let that dry a bit. And while that's drying, what we're going to do, and we'll move the paints over because we don't need them for the minute. I'm going to take the backing off this, and we're going to stick that down here. And what you want to do is sort of get your X-Acto knife underneath and sort of try and hook it up by keeping the tape down, but the backing comes off. Just like that. Sometimes it can still be a little bit fiddly, but other times it works like a breeze, just like it is here at the moment. So hopefully all of them are going to do that. Will Lucky Last do the same thing? I don't know. Let's see and find out. My goodness, look at that. That was just awesome. Okay, now we've got to make sure we've got it the right way up. Make sure you've got your cart the way you want it to open. And then what we're going to do, now I know there's only going to be a little bit of a gap down the bottom. Kind of going to line it up so it's reasonably straight. Yeah, come on. Like so. And we'll just stick it down. And ta-da! Part 1 done, just like that. Now let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's okay. Alright, so next what we want to do is grab our acrylic block, stick our sentiment on, just like so. We'll grab some ink. I might grab the Memento one. It's smaller, makes less mess. Ooh, and make sure you've got a baby wipe handy so you can wipe off any of the excess and wipe your stamp clean straight after. Okay, so we're going to ink this up nicely, like so. And what I actually like to do is grab my baby wipe and I just wrap it around my finger and very carefully just wipe off any of the excess, because I'm a bit clumsy at times, so yeah. Anyway, so what we want to do is kind of line it up to get it sort of in the center, and we'll press down on it and hold it there for a few seconds and lift it up, and there we have it. Give our stamp a quick clean over. Beautiful, done. Now I'm actually going to dry my block, because the one thing I've noticed, and it makes sense, if your block's too wet, your next one won't stick. Okay, so we're going to put the next one down. So now what I want to do is grab some of our ultramarine blue, watercolor paint, and again a little bit of the glycerin, like so, and mix that all in. But this time, instead of using a brush, although I could, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use this little sponge. And what we're going to do is pick up some of this ink, and I call it ink, and we're going to dab that onto our stamp, except I haven't got enough there, so we're going to have to make a little bit more up. Just roughing up the surface a little bit so it doesn't beat up too much. And now it's actually holding the paint, so it's not beating up as much as what it was. It still is a little bit, but it should be okay. Alright, and then what we want to do, hopefully I haven't got too much on there now, I want to put one on this side, press it down, hold it, and lift it up. Now it's quite wet there, which is fine. I can use my heat gun to dry it off in a little bit. We'll put some on this again, and we'll do the same on this side. And lift it off. And what you could actually do is, while it's still wet, you know what? I might just do that. Ha! What we can do, because I want to get glitter all over. Once again, all over my table. What I'm going to do is grab the holographic embossing powder. Now I know I haven't prepped it or anything like that, so we'll just hopefully it'll just stick to what we want it to stick to. It's actually sticking a little bit more, but I'm going to actually leave that because I kind of like the way it's looking. I might sort of, you know what? We're going to make the whole lot nice and sparkly. See, because the colours that we put on before haven't dried yet, so everything is still sticking to it. So we can actually make it nice and sparkly. So what I'm going to do, I'll quickly pause the video and use my heat gun because one, it's too noisy, two, it's way too big, because I'll show you after what kind of heat gun I'm using. So back in a second. Okay, back again. Now as you can see, it's got a nice little shimmer to it now. I reckon it looks kind of cool, especially all over. Now I'll show you my heat gun. There's my mean machine, okay? And it actually feels quite awkward to use it because I have to try and control it, and the switch is a little bit difficult, so but it's the kind of heat gun I've got, and I actually do use it for when I do epoxy work. So anyhow, let's get back into it. So what we're going to do now is take the tape off on the back, like so, and then we're going to line this up. This one must have moved a little bit. Oh well, never mind. These things happen. There we go. Stick that down. And there you have it. A nice pretty card for Christmas. Now to me, being in Australia, we don't have snow. So, you know, this is my kind of Christmas card. I will come up with another awesome one for next week. So, as I said before, if you haven't already done so, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you get notified. And leave a comment down below and let me know what kind of videos you would like me to make. Would you like me to do more painting tutorials where you can turn them into cards? Or, you know, do you want me to do one on canvas? Or, you know, what is it that you would like me to do? Again, leave a comment down below, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye!